Man with Gareth McGuinness.
Welcome back to the channel, a Saturday morning podcast. Not the usual, but it was a very busy week in terms of Premier League football, so we could only do the podcast last night. But with Derry City being at home, I was at the Brandywell, so Owen and me decided to do it on a Saturday morning. So we'll try and get you warmed up for the football. Kicking off at 12:30, Crystal Palace at Man City, so we'll be off before that. So I know Liverpool fans will have one eye on that Man City game. We'll be looking back at that crazy game involving Chelsea and Man United on Thursday night. We'll also be looking at the title race as all three teams in midweek one, and we'll be looking ahead to the weekend, including games. Big derby weekend. We've got Rangers and Celtic, and then we've also got Man United Liverpool. A busy Sunday, and we'll go through the rest of the weekend's games. So, Owen, plenty to chat about. I suppose we'll start off by chatting about last night at the Brandywell before we move on to the English football. But good to see Derry get back to winning ways, and some great goals scored.
As I said to you before we came on, in the first half, I thought it was just going to be another drab game where it petered out and the other team went like a 1-1. But thankfully, we got the result in the end. And I thought for me, the best player on the pitch was Paul Mullin. I think he was really good. Or Danny Mullin, Paul McMullen. I get them mixed up. Good result. And as I say, hopefully.
I actually always have a mic, but where I sit in my room, there's not enough room to put it in front of the camera, so there's always a room. It's just there's no one in the house at the moment, so I'm able to do it downstairs today.
Hopefully Derry now can push on, especially with Shelbourne and Rovers both dropping points. So suddenly it's looking good again. But we'll see if we can kick on because we have Rovers in the next couple of weeks. So
Rovers and Pats coming up in a double header at home after the draw game, so they're going to be big days. I think I'm back on commentary for the Pats game on the Monday night.
Hopefully it's better than last week.
It was tough to comment on, but we'll get into the English football. I watched the first half of the Liverpool game on Thursday night, but I was really looking forward to the Chelsea and Man United game because I knew it was going to be open. But for how open it was, it kind of blew my mind. It was just basketball, football, end to end. Was it the game of the season, Owen? Because it was great entertainment. But if you're a Chelsea or Man United fan, would you be seriously concerned at how open it was?
For me, I definitely we seen a similar game last week between Newcastle and West Ham. So people were saying that was a game last season. Other people were saying this was a game last season. Obviously, for both managers, they're two managers that are under serious pressure at the minute, and I thought it was just chaos, and I would be concerned if I was a fan of either of those teams, how open it was. But for me, watching it as a neutral fan, I could have watched an hour 90 minutes of that and wouldn't have complained.
Yeah, it was some game. Chances galore. I think Chelsea had 28 shots. Man United had 19. It was just end to end, and it was frantic. And of course, let's go back to the start of the game. In the first 25-30 minutes, Chelsea were dominant in the game. It was kind of the midfield of Gallagher, Caicedo, and Fernandes was kind of showing its value in terms of 250 million spent on Fernandes and Caicedo, but they were kind of running the show. And then, as we've seen so many times with Chelsea this season, it's almost like kind of reminds me of Pochettino's Spurs at times, where somebody would make a stupid individual error and they would let a team back into the game, and it was a different game after that. United got 2 quick goals, and Chelsea didn't deserve to be losing or drawing 2-2 at half time, but it just made it even more open. And then really the whole second half it could have went either way. What did you think of the first half performance from Chelsea? Because it looked they were night and day above Chelsea, but Man United, but we've seen that fragility that we talked about in the last podcast in the League Cup final when Liverpool opened the door for them. Chelsea couldn't walk through it, and it was kind of this game where you thought the door was open again. We United 2-0 up, and they almost lost it. Only for a mad finish. But is that a concern for Chelsea that despite they can play well, we've seen it against Burnley at the weekend, but they give teams so many chances, some sloppy individual errors?
A few times, like you seen, not just the Burnley game, Leicester in the FA Cup as well. A mad on goal,
They were 2
uh,
up in that game, weren't they, as well? Yeah.
up in that game, right? And God knows if Leicester hadn't have got a man sent off, who knows what would happen. And soon as Chelsea went 2 but I agree with you. I thought they were worthy of their lead. Like, but when Casado made that pass to, was it Garnacho, and then Garnacho's made it 2-1. I just thought when it went to 2-2, I thought Chelsea are going to crumble here as they normally do, and in a way they did, in a way they didn't, because they went they went 3-2 behind, and I thought, right, that's it. And obviously the madness just started then, and obviously the penalties were soft, but in my opinion, I thought,
What did you think of the penalties? I mean, me and you kind of disagreed on some. The first one for me, I thought definitely was a penalty. The second one, it's a bit of a 50-50, I think. I
yeah.
mean,
See,
but I think when the referee gives it, it was, and even though he looked at it for quite a long time, I don't think there's enough on it to overturn it, because I think Ali McCoist on commentary summed it up well. At the speed MIDWEEK was running at,
yeah.
any kind of touch, and the fact that he bundled under the back game as well, you could say he was off balance, Dallo, when he did it, but it was clumsy defending.
Yeah. See, I would go the other way. I would say the second one for me was more of a penalty than the first one, which shows it is a hard job. Like, for as much as I give off with referees, it is a hard job, and they have to make split decisions, and they're not going to get everything right. But obviously, I didn't have a horse in the race, so if I was a Liverpool fan against them, oh, here we go.
We'll be speaking about the title race soon, Stefan, so stay tuned.
She won't be involved in it soon. Don't worry. but no, I think because I didn't have a horse in the race, like, for me, I don't really care if they're giving it or not. But if it was for you, then you take it. But for United now, well, I'm hoping they're one. They're the walking wounded going on this Sunday. So I hope we can capitalise as we get on.
Spurs obviously drew on Tuesday night with West Ham, and I wasn't too concerned because I thought United had a tough week away at Chelsea and away at Liverpool. Now, to be totally honest with you, going on the injury time, the other days thinking United could be back on it here. Away at Chelsea is a great result, even though Chelsea haven't been the normal Chelsea. Going to Chelsea and winning for United would have been a big result, and with a record against Liverpool this season, who knows how Sunday would go. So if they had to go through that game, if they had to come out of this week with 4 points in them 2 games, and we had the same against West Ham and Forest, they have had harder games, with us having harder games to come, and that gap would have been at 6 points. So I would have been a little bit concerned. But the fact that they collapsed at the end and gave away them 2 goals, Spurs now have a 9-point lead over Man United, with a 20-goal difference, which is nearly worth a point. That's 10 points. And with us playing Forest on Sunday and them having to play Liverpool, that gap could be increased to 12 points plus the 20 goal difference. So, I mean,
fingers crossed.
As it all but over for United? I mean, do they have to win on Sunday to give themselves any hope of that 5th spot?
Even if they won on Sunday, which obviously I hope they don't. Even if they won on Sunday, I can't say it. Their season now hinges on the FA Cup for me, and obviously they'll want they win on Sunday, obviously, because they'll not want Liverpool winning the league. So it's Sunday in the FA Cup for me. But other than that, no, I can't see them. They won't finish. Like, I don't think they won't finish any higher than they are, and they won't finish any lower than they are unless they really.
See,
mess
it's
it
funny.
up, but
I was actually obviously at the Brandywell last night, and I was speaking to some United fans. I know a boy's going to the commentary game, and he's a bit concerned that could be a bad day out. But if you look at the league table, right, they're 9 points behind Spurs with 19 goals difference behind. But if you look at them, they're only 3 points ahead of West Ham in 7th, 4 points ahead of Newcastle in 8th. And
they're 5 points behind Chelsea now.
5 points ahead of Chelsea. So there's an argument that, if anything, they could lose their 6th spot before they'll catch 5th. So, I mean, should they be trying to nail down that 6th spot as opposed to looking ahead? Because if they don't win the FA Cup, and that's a big FA Man City in it, if they were to finish 7th or 8th, they would be in the Europa Conference League as opposed to the Europa League. So, for me, I think United need to focus on maintaining that spot before they can start thinking about getting any higher.
I never even thought about that. I didn't realize the other teams were as close as they are, and you never know now. Like, I know you never know with Chelsea. I'm not discounting West Ham. Newcastle are still in it with a shout now. Like, there's teams now that are ready to capitalise if United slip up and go.
Well, they'll be looking at United and thinking, you know what, they're vulnerable. As opposed to, I don't think United will be looking at Spurs and Villa and thinking that they're overly vulnerable because they've got such a big lead.
Yeah. Another thing with United too is they can't seem to put a full team together at the minute because I seen on the game on Thursday night, they lost Evans, they lost Varane. I think
I think
Casemiro's
it's
out
maybe
for Sunday.
Maguire and Willie Kamwa, is it, at the back on Sunday?
I
And I mean, if I'm a Liverpool fan, I would want Casemiro to play because there's
I
people running past him there on it. He couldn't move. If I'm a
I
Liverpool fan, I would want Casemiro fit and playing.
no, so would I, and I seen that too. Like I think there was one moment where Caicedo basically just walked past them and he didn't make a move and I don't know. I don't want to criticize. We'll get on the Rashford here, but he came on and I don't know if you saw the clips on Twitter. Like he just jogged. He didn't. There was no desire. There was no nothing. I don't know what's going on with him, but there's more than football going on. That's for sure.
You mentioned his name there. He was at fault for the first goal with that back pass. Caicedo. I mean, you wanted this man so much in the summer. Any regrets that you didn't get him now, or are you happy enough?
I'm happy. To be fair, like I know this season he hasn't been great, but I think I'm not the biggest fan. But yeah, you can say that, but Liverpool have had massive injuries, Newcastle have had massive injuries, Spurs have had massive injuries. It happens to teams. What we saying about Caicedo? I don't regret signing him, but I think
Stefan's talking about Callum, and Callum's not even in the chat. I bet they're going to get at least a draw against Liverpool on Sunday.
They could, like we're having a good record against them, so I'm confident we'll get a result, but I'm not going to go and say, "Oh, it's going to be 5, 6, 7." I think it'll be a tight. We'll get on the predictions.
Liverpool have had that feeling too many times recently that they're going to beat United by so many goals. I think you just need to focus on winning the game and take United like you would take every other game. Take it serious.
Like if we're 0-0 in the 90th minute, we get a scrappy own goal. I'll not be complaining.
We'll speak about United Liverpool very, very soon. Final thoughts on this game. I mean, a lot of calls.
You asked me about Caicedo there. No, I don't regret signing him, but as much as we're bantering him this season, I do think he'll turn into a top player for Chelsea once they get their stuff sorted out. To be honest, I think he has every capability to be a top player. But I think at the minute we got the right end of the stick when it comes to signing players from Brighton.
Stefan saying Klopp's record against United's patchy enough. 7 wins, 5 losses, the rest draws. We'll come on to talk about United Liverpool very, very shortly. Final thoughts on this game. I mean, we've seen Foden score a hat-trick on Wednesday night. Palmer scores a hat-trick on Thursday night, albeit 2 being penalties, and he has scored a lot of penalties, but I'll tell you what, he scored every single penalty he's had them. You know, he's got a lot of confidence hitting penalties. I mean, people think penalties is a stick they beat you with, but I mean, for example, I think Steven Gerrard, of his 120 goals for Liverpool, 30 were penalties. You know what I mean? So really, I mean, it's just because you can take a good penalty shouldn't be tarring you with a brush. But
the same
I
with
mean, for that alone, does Palmer need to be included in the England squad? Because if it goes to a penalty shootout, if you've got him, Harry Kane, Ivan Toney, for example, Saka can have penalties. There's 4 strong penalty takers in your squad.
I think even without the thing of penalties, I think he has to be in the squad anyway. He's probably, for me, take Foden out of it. Foden's a league of his own. Like in my opinion, he's the best player in the league at the minute. But Palmer's been the best. Palmer, I can't say his name right, has been the best performing English player this season, apart from Foden.
And then it'll be interesting because you've got Foden, you've got Saka, you've got Palmer as well. So I don't think they all play together.
No, Madison too. You could add into that if he goes.
I think Madison's going to be resigned to the bench now. At least form, all our players are thriving. I think Madison's going to be resigned to the bench. And if he's going to play as well, he's going to play in the middle. He's not going to play out wide, is he? So I think, unfortunately for Palmer, Saka's going to be the starter and Palmer's going to be the backup. I think Foden will play off the left or in the centre.
You have to play Saka and Foden. Like Foden's just, as much as I don't like Man City, like he's just he's wonderful to watch. Like
I think it's nailed on that Southgate's going to play Foden on the left, Saka on the right, and Kane up top. I think a lot of people want Foden in the middle. They get an hour attacker on, but I think it's nailed on. He's going to play that way. We know Rice is going to play. We know Bellingham's going to play. I think the biggest decision Southgate's going to make is who's going to play that hour midfield role. We've got Kobe Manu, and you've seen Kobe Manu's come on the scene. You've got
I've
Conor Gallagher. He's obviously
Kobe.
bench Phillips now, but Phillips played that role. Henderson's played that role. Who do you think Southgate's going to pick for that third midfield position?
I don't know, but we'll get on the Kobe Mini. Like he's a great player. He's a great young player, but I do think he's been slightly overhyped. He's wonderful. Like he's going to be a great player, but I think it's too big for him. They started a big tournament at the minute, so but I think it's hard because he's not going to take Phillips to the Euros at the minute. Like, and Henderson, Stefan's taking shots at every team today. No mention of Arsenal yet. I'm surprised.
Saka
But
scores penalty people. Do you know what I mean? So every player has penalties. It's not.
I do.
You know what I mean?
I do think. I think he'll take Kobe Mini. I do think he'll take Kobe Mini.
He'll pick Manu.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the title race because I know Stefan's itching to get involved here. I mean, good week for Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, and the midweek. I think Liverpool and Arsenal, everybody expected them they won. I think there was a bit of an asterisk beside Villa, or Man City because they're playing Aston Villa, but Aston Villa had injuries.
I was
there's a
fuming when
few
I saw
people
their
saying
team.
that maybe Emery, even though there was injuries, he still went weaker than he could have went.
I saw a team. I was like, nah.
Well, maybe people were criticizing. I think some Arsenal fans and Liverpool fans were saying that Emery threw the towel on, but he did have some injuries. But also, I think he looked at Man City and thought, you know what, we've got Brentford at home on Saturday.
Nah.
We need to make sure we beat Brentford, and then today prioritise because they've got Europa Conference League coming up as well. I mean, what was your thoughts on Villa's team selection at Man City?
I mean, obviously, as a fan of Liverpool, you don't want other teams to put out weak teams, but I think he was sort of stuck too because of the injuries he had, like no Watkins, no McGinn, Martinez.
Is that American Day, Ryan? Sorry. Was it about Manu or Palmer? Is that what he means? I'm not sure.
Probably.
Stefan saying Conor Gallagher was this 2 years ago as well. Darren saying disgraceful that Villa fielded such a weak team at Man City.
You can say that, but like they had Jesus Christ. Oh, don't give me, it's too early for this. But no, I think what was I saying? I've sort of lost my train of thought here.
Team selection.
Oh, it's disappointing, but they had a lot of injuries too. I was surprised at how weak they went because they had Leon Bailey on the bench. I guarantee when they're playing Arsenal, they won't go as weak. Oh, there's Callum.
Plenty watching here. There's over 25 here watching live. So get your comments on them. We'll try and answer your questions as much as possible. I think there's as much happening in the chat as there is on screen here. There seems to be all sorts of people having their say. This is what we love. This is what we want people to get involved.
I don't think he'll go as weak against Arsenal, Emery, or Liverpool, depending on the circumstances by then.
Let's talk about the three teams. They both won. They all won. Liverpool and Arsenal were expected they won, of course. Man City, I think we're still expected they won, but it was definitely a tougher game. But Sheffield United turned up at Anfield and they says we're not going to roll over like we have been getting rolled over. And they should have been 1-0 up after 30 seconds. Really, great save from Gallagher. I think McAtee has to score, but Liverpool then get a goal from the goalkeeper messing about at the back, and Núñez presses him and gets the goal. And Liverpool, I thought them would steamroll Sheffield, but it didn't really happen. Bradley scores an own goal, and then Macalister scores a goal that reminded me of Steven Gerrard against Olympiacos. And I mean,
there was actually a thing.
Liverpool's most important player this in the second half of the season, anyway.
Oh, because Salah's not been in himself, but I think a lot of that has to come down with what's happening off the pitch with him at the minute. He's obviously practicing Ramadan, so I don't think he's fully fit at the minute. But Macalister, like, to get him for what 35 minutes, I know it could rise I think it can rise to 50 or something, but he's just. He has been our best player, and without him, I don't think we would be where we are. And to be fair, on Thursday too, he wasn't even playing. He was playing CDM because Endo was out. But I think he's one of them players where he reads the game so well. And I was listening to the commentary. He doesn't panic in possession. That's why I like him. If he has a man on him, he can just pick out a player. I also want to shout out Kelleher too, because if it wasn't for him, we would have to play Adrian, and that would give me nightmares.
Is that the worry at the moment, Bob, that even against Sheffield United, you're needing a goalkeeper to pull off 2 or 3 saves? I mean, that can't be happening, can it?
I mean, To be fair to Sheffield United, as bad as they haven't been as bad in the last few games. So,
Mm.
but I actually seen a stat too. Kelleher's played the same amount of games this season as Allison had.
It's a funny one because see if you look at Arsenal and Liverpool,
Yep.
Liverpool create far more opportunities,
Yeah, but
but
Arsenal don't give
give
away as
up
much.
2 or 3 massive chances in a game, and more
Yeah.
often than not, Kelleher or Van Dijk or somebody pulls them out. Whereas Arsenal maybe don't create as many as you've seen against Luton, but rarely they didn't give Luton a snuff. And I know
Yeah.
it was only Luton, but Luton were on the longest goal scoring record of any team. They scored in their last 18 games in the league before they played Arsenal, and they never got near Arsenal's goal really
Yeah.
at all. So it's very, very contrasting styles. I mean, Roy Keane believes that Liverpool have the best chance because they're a team that creates so many opportunities in a game
Yeah.
that they're bound to score 2 or 3 goals. I mean, is that how you see it? I mean, would you rather be a team that's going to create 7, 8 big chances and give up 2 or 3 than maybe create 4 or 5 and give away nothing? I mean, how would you assess it? Because two very
I
different
mean,
styles, but both teams are getting results, and it's hard to call at the moment.
I mean, as long as you're getting results at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But I would rather the way we play because as much as Arsenal are getting results and you have to respect them for the way they're doing it, they have a great defensive team. They probably have the best centre back partnership in the league at the minute. Which Saliba and Gabriel. I actually think Gabriel's been slightly better than Saliba. I don't know if you agree, but that's the way I see it. But I just think the way we play, as you say, we'll create chance after chance after chance, and eventually we will score. So, but it does worry me how slow we start games at
Mm.
times.
Stefan saying he doesn't believe in Arsenal have scored more goals than Liverpool, and he's right.
They
But the one
have,
thing I would
I.
say about that is I think the results there was a 3 games there they scored 6-5-5.
I
I think
know.
that
So,
kind of inflated their stats a wee bit. Them, I think 6 against West Ham, 5 against Burnley, and
that's
then
not
five
that's not going to
against
happen every week.
Sheffield, or 6 against Sheffield. There's 3 scored games in a row they scored all them goals. For me,
Like,
when
for
I'm
me
watching it,
though,
Liverpool create more chances regularly in games, but give up so many more as
like,
compared to Arsenal, who are
for me
kind of.
though, like
I mean, in the last few
Arsenal,
games, I can't remember Arsenal conceding a chance, even against Man
no,
City. They hardly give them anything.
no, but as Stefan says, they have scored more goals, but who's who's sitting first in the league at the minute? Like that, that's that's
Um,
that's my
a lot of
argument.
a lot of focus on the run-ins. I think every pundit and every even Arsenal fan would say that Arsenal probably have the toughest run-in. But as you've seen at Man City and the way they're defending in big games, well, defending in every game, but you've seen they can go to Man City and defend the way they did. Does that give them hope going to the likes of Spurs, going to Old Trafford, going to Brighton tonight, going to Wolves, that if they can defend the way they can, they might only need to score 1 goal, and they can win them big away games. And if they were to win them big away games, you'd fancy them to mop up in the home games. So, I mean, Arsenal still have a great chance. I mean, you could say that they have a tough running and they've got Champions League games on there, but I mean, Arsenal aren't going to come to the Spurs stadium, and I don't see them collapsing it. You know what I mean? I think that's going to be a
Yeah,
seriously tough game for Spurs. Arsenal's going to be a hard team to beat.
I think what was it? The old saying is defense won G titles, but they do have a tough running. But I do think if they do defend the way they can, then it gives them every chance. But they have to. For Arsenal now, it's for me, for Arsenal and Man City, it's hoping Liverpool slip up because if we don't slip up, which I think we will, one of the games I don't see us going on winning every game, but say we don't slip up, like their defense or their many goals they're scoring doesn't matter. So that's their biggest hope at the minute. As much as they can defend, as much as they can do this and that, like their
Mhm.
hope is that we slip up.
Sorry, on just loads of comments coming on here, so I'm trying to get everyone involved. But Stefan
I
saying,
know,
imagine
well,
when Arsenal have a number 9 next year. Ryan believes that Anfield is a massive factor, which you can't deny.
I agree.
Stefan saying Arsenal won't lose in our game this season; they might draw. And Callum makes a great point here, and I'd like to hear Stefan's thoughts on this. But Arsenal won't defend as deep in them games. I agree. I don't think they're going to come to Spurs and play the same way they did at Man City. You
Yep.
know, although Spurs will attack as well, I don't think Arsenal will come to. I don't think they'll see themselves as inferior to Spurs. I think they'll think that's a game
Yeah.
that they can win. So, whereas I think at Man City they played not to get beat, I don't think they'll play not to get beat at Spurs. So, is that an
Uh,
interesting one that when they go to Old Trafford and they go to Spurs that they will have to attack more?
They definitely, especially the North London derby. Arsenal fans, no matter where they are or in the league, they'll not accept sitting back and defending against Spurs. Like, well, they'll want they won that game more than any other game. And I think you're right. I think they'll have Brentford to play. Well, that's mm.
That is
who
a great point, and that's the worry for Spurs that
they can't
you
defend
know
set pieces.
way too many goals
I've
from
been
set
interested.
pieces.
I haven't seen Ryan
Arsenal are
in
the
here before,
best
so
team in the league from
I'd be
set
interested
pieces.
to see who Ryan supports. I haven't seen him around before, but it's gonna be an interesting run on. But I do think Arsenal will lose a game. I don't agree with Stefan. I do think they'll lose a game. I think Liverpool will lose a game. I think Man
Let's
City
talk
will
about
lose a
the
game.
other team and the title race. I mean, the team that you can never write off. And for me now, they have the easiest running in terms of
Yeah.
they've played their three toughest games. Well, the four hardest games they had left was Liverpool away, Arsenal at home, Villa at home, and they still have Spurs away. But the Spurs away game is likely
Could
to
be
be
a dead
played
rubber, really.
right before the final day of the season. So God knows how big that game will be for Spurs because Spurs might already be qualified for the Champions League by then. Who knows? They might have to win it. If Spurs need a result, obviously it becomes a very different game. But I've got a feeling the way United, how far United are behind, I think Spurs could already be guaranteed a Champions League spot. So if Arsenal and Man City is going for the league, and there's no way Spurs is going to let Arsenal back anyway. So I mean, Man City still a big threat for you.
Of course, like no matter what position Liverpool in at the minute, like we still have to do our job. We still have to win. Like if we draw, say we draw or lose on Sunday, like it opens it back up again for the other two teams. So
Mm.
both teams are still a threat. I still see. I'm gonna. I still see Arsenal as the bigger threat at the minute. I don't know why, but
Mm.
I just do. I just do.
No De Bruyne and Haaland on Wednesday night, and Man City play with so much freedom. Now you could say maybe Villa
Yeah,
we're down in numbers, but Haaland's come on for a bit of criticism off Roy Keane. Now I thought it was way over the top his criticism because this is a boy
it
that
was
can score
fun.
goals for fun.
It
But
was funny though.
when De Bruyne plays, kind of Foden's forced out wide at times. And you
Yeah,
seen Foden in that free role in the middle. He was showing up all over the place, kind of wee touches on the side. Some of the combination play with Bernardo Silva and him. Alvarez kind of moves around as well, whereas Haaland's quite static at times. Even though he makes great runs in behind, he sticks to playing down the middle, where Alvarez was popping up left, right, everywhere.
yeah.
Doku was playing with that freedom we seen in the first half of the season, where he was beating players, crossing balls into the box. I mean, the Man City show a different side in the other night. They play with so much more freedom, and I mean, they created so many chances. I know they scored some. Foden scored some great goals from outside the box, but I mean, they missed some massive chances in the box as well. They seem to create so much more.
It's interesting. Like I'm not saying they're a better team with De Bruyne and Haaland out of
No, that's not
it,
what I'm saying either. But it was
but
interesting to see that how they played differently at
they
times.
can. I think they play more fluid without Haaland, if that makes sense.
Mm. Callum
But I
says
think
that City are still one of my massive shout. They should mop up in their fixtures.
I like all three teams will still believe that they'll win the league. So it's going to be interesting. But as I say, I think they're more fluid without Haaland. But I think you can't keep Haaland out of that team for long. He's a goal scoring machine. Like, but I think they're far better with Foden than they are with Alvarez. If Foden's
So
in the middle,
you
I
see it
think
at the moment. You see it at the moment as Liverpool will win 7 of their last 8 and maybe draw one of the games. That's how you see it. So do you think that the other teams have to win every game they have a chance?
I think so. I just think I don't know. You said to me the other night it seems to be written for Liverpool at the minute, and I just feel that way.
Mm.
I'll go as far as saying if we beat Man United, I think we'll win it then. But
Yeah,
that'll
and
be
Kieran points
the
to that
three away
3 big
games
game.
too.
Fulham away on the Sunday, Everton away on the Wednesday, and West Ham away on the Saturday at 12:30. That'll be a pivotal week. I think that after the United game on Sunday is the week that Liverpool are going to be seriously tested. But look, so
The
many
way
more twists and turns they come. More comments
The West
coming in.
Ham game.
Liverpool are not as good. Uh, we'll see. We will
We're not
see
as
around
good.
the last 8 games.
We're not as good as the mighty Arsenal, but we're 2 points above them. Okay.
Um, oh, massive weekend of football coming up, especially on
Oh,
Sunday. Now, I'm actually really looking forward to this. Initially, right, so I'll tell you the story. I was going to this. I'm going to the Spurs game against Forest. Now, I always wait till the TV games are confirmed, because you never know when games are going to switch. So as
Yep.
soon as the TV games are confirmed, it says right Monday night I'll go to the Forest game. It's always cheap to travel on a Monday too and stuff, and it's always easier to get tickets for a Monday night game because people have work and stuff. So booked the Monday off work, booked the Tuesday off work, bought the tickets, and then literally bought the flights. Literally 3 or 4 days later, they announced then that there's a bloody rail strike, bus strike, all public transport on the Monday in London is stopped. So they moved the game to a Sunday at 6 o'clock. So then I went on to Ryanair, try to change flights around. Not happening because it was too much money to change flights. So ended up having to book the Sunday. So I'm flying over on a Sunday now. I'm back on the same flight on the Tuesday. So lost a few pounds on the Monday trip, but not too much or whatever. When I looked at the fixtures, then I was actually looking forward to this now because this Sunday coming, we've got the Old Firm at 12 o'clock. We've got Man United Liverpool at 3:30, and then I'll be at the Spurs game at 6 o'clock. So I've kind of got a good day to go on the beer and enjoy the football. So massive weekend. Let's talk about the Old Firm before we come on to Man United and Liverpool. Because I mean, this is as close as a title race as there's been in Scotland. At the minute, Celtic on 74 points have played 31 games. Rangers on 73, a point behind, but have a game in hand, and the game in hand is actually played on Wednesday, next Wednesday. So huge game. Now they will play each other again after the league splits, and I think Celtic will be at home that time. But this is a massive opportunity for Rangers at home. If they can win, they would go 2 points ahead of Celtic. And he would also have that game in midweek to go 5 points clear. So, huge game. I mean, how do you see it? I mean, Celtic were miles clear at one point. Then Michael Beale gets sacked. Falk Clements come on. Rangers have got so much better. Celtic have stuttered a wee bit. The fans aren't as happy under Rodgers as they were under Postecoglou. I mean, it's anyone's up for grabs, but Celtic have won the 2 Old Firm games this year, including one of them being at Ibrox. So, it's tough to call.
It is. I'm not going to sit here and say I watch Scottish football because I don't. But
come on, Rangers.
That's you're not the chat to be saying that on, I tell you. But no, to be honest, I don't really care who wins it because I'm not a Celtic fan. Like so,
the only reason, as you say, I'm the same. I have no sort of, I don't really care who wins either. But I just thought such a big game. We've probably maybe some Celtic fans as well, or people that like Celtic and support English teams. So I thought we would chat about it a wee bit.
It is a massive game, and to be fair, I'll probably watch it myself. Like I will watch it. I always watch them games because it's feisty. But I'm going to go with Rangers. You know, I think Rangers might nick it.
You think Rangers at home?
2-1.
Tough to call. You know, I think Celtic will take a draw now. Because if they were to take a draw, even though
is there any away fans
Rangers will probably win midweek, no, not until next season. No away fans the next season. I think if Celtic got a draw, they would still be a point ahead. Obviously, even if Rangers won midweek, be 2 points, but Celtic would still have to play Rangers at home. So if they were to win the rest of their games, beat Rangers at home, they'd be champions. So I think Celtic will definitely think if they get a draw,
it's a good result.
Obviously, how the game will go, but I think before the game they would definitely take a draw. Obviously, if they bat the Rangers and don't win, they'll be disappointed. But I think pre-game, I think a lot of Celtic fans would settle for a point.
There's gonna be a couple of red cards anyway. I'm convinced.
I'm actually a Hibernian fan. I went to uni in Edinburgh. Very good. Let's talk about the big game, obviously, in England on Sunday, 3:30 kickoff. I mean, 2 times Liverpool have played United this season. They drew one at home, lost in the FA Cup in dramatic fashion. Will it be third time lucky for Liverpool this time?
Well, the saying is third time's the charm. So let's hope so. But the thing is, in both games, we should have won. Like we should have, but we didn't. We didn't take our chances. And Klopp said in his press conference yesterday. Was it yesterday or it was? He said we need to be more clinical, and that's the way I feel. I think if we play to the best of our ability, then we should beat United. I'm not being cocky when I say that, but they're down to the bare bones at the back. Like they're playing Harry Maguire and Kumbwala. They're that
shameless. He's absolutely shameless, isn't he?
Aye. He'll not be saying that when Arsenal have to play them. But no, it's going to be a tight game. I think Kieran,
Kieran, the only thing is, Kieran, you've said
don't.
that 3 times this season, or well, 2 times this season. So I would refrain. I mean, remember that
I,
first game? I think Meats was on before the first game, and he says it's going to be 6 or 7 at Anfield. Do you remember?
that only happened. That
He doesn't want to see it.
you're gonna okay. How many times has he said that this season? Forest are gonna beat us. This team's
Starting to
gonna
sound
beat
like
us.
a broken record, doesn't he?
And you know what? We could draw, we could lose. It's one of them games. United will turn up because United don't want Liverpool won the league. Like if I was in United's position and we were playing them at Anfield, say if we were sixth and they were first, I'd be dying for it because I don't want them. I don't want them winning anything. But I'm gonna, if you're asking me prediction, I'm gonna go
How long?
3-1.
How long? How long? Don't tell me anything yet.
Yeah.
I want to focus on this one aspect because I think we've analysed United and Liverpool enough on the podcast because it's played each other twice already. So there's no point really getting into it when we know Liverpool are a better team. No, even United fans wouldn't argue that. No,
Oh,
United at the minute.
Stefan would find a way to say that United are better.
I think it's actually nearly 60 shots they've conceded in their last 2 games. I think it's 59 actually. It is 60 because near enough 60 shots in the last 2 games.
That's
I think it was 31 against Brentford and 28 against Chelsea. They've conceded over 200 shots in 2024, more shots than any team in 2024 than every team in Europe's top 5 leagues. Why is this happening so much? I mean, I think Ten Hag has been saying some strange stuff that he thinks the team's playing great, but any team conceding that amount of shots every week is going to struggle to win games.
He came out with a statement, I think, after the Brentford game to say, we concede all these shots, but we don't concede that. We don't concede. Oh my God, Kieran doesn't do well for himself, does he?
Darn Sandy, stop it, son.
Say nothing. Say nothing. No,
but I mean that's a dangerous stat because if Liverpool really do turn up, then they're going to have 30 shots as well.
No, I think even if we don't turn up, we'll have a good few shots. Like, but why are they conceding so many? It's because no, I just think the structure is not right. The midfield, they've Kobe Manu, but we've seen it there already, as we said there. Casemiro just looks done. He does. They just get walked through so easily, and the defense isn't great, and it doesn't help when you're having to play a different centre back partnership every second game. But I just think they're not good at transition as we struggle with as well. But the only difference
is that a coaching problem? Do you think? I mean, because for whatever reason he hasn't been able to fix it. From sort of that game against Wolves, where Wolves had so many shots in that first game, it's kind of been a theme all season. Where like I think Carragher, Neville, they've all analysed it to death. Ten Hag had back at Carragher a couple of times and says that he can't because he's got his Liverpool top on, saying it that he's enjoying it. But even though he maybe is enjoying it, it is fact. The match of the pundits have done it. Alan Shearer, Ian Wright,
Gary Neville said it.
Gary Neville said it. So I mean, why are they not able to fix? Is it a personnel problem or is it a coaching problem?
Probably about both. They don't have the players to be able to stop it, and I think Ten Hag doesn't help himself in the media. He came out after the Brentford game and says, Man City struggled against Brentford. I was like, no, they didn't. Like, what game were you watching? And
Stefan believes that although United's defence is shocking, Liverpool are vulnerable in the counter-attack. Is that the only way Liverpool won't win the game as counter-attacks and stopping them transitions when we know Fernandes and Alex, as soon as Fernandes gets the ball, he's going to look and play it over the top and behind. They won't even try to play in midfield. They'll literally get the ball and runners on behind and try and hit you in the break. I mean, is that where United can hurt you? We've seen it in the FA Cup. The goal at the end was a counter-attack from a corner.
Yep. That, for me, that's their best shot because Stefan is right. We're not great at defending counterattacks, but neither are they. So it could go one way or the other. It could go one way or the other. It could be a bad turn or it could be a tight game.
United aren't going to play the same way they did against Chelsea. They're going to sit off Liverpool, aren't they?
You would imagine so. So, and as much as Liverpool always seem to struggle, they break down a low block as we did against Sheffield United. Like we struggled, and then obviously
I think it's really important for you is that we've seen it already in games this season. It should have been saying the Arnie should have conceded the first goal against Sheffield only for that poor miss from McAtee in the first minute. And we've seen it at Old Trafford in the first 20 minutes. We've seen it against Brighton. Slow starters. Liverpool can't afford a slow start on Sunday because even though Liverpool dominated that second half in the FA Cup, they could have been 2 or 3-0 down in the first 15 or 20 minutes because United missed some big chances. So it's important for Liverpool that whatever happens, I think they really have to start strong. If Liverpool start strong and get the first goal, I don't see any way back for United.
No, neither. I think if we get the first goal, their heads will drop. But I agree that we need to stop we need to stop being so sluggish in the opening minutes. Like we conceded early against Brighton last week too after 90 seconds, which wasn't great. But I think, to be honest, I really do think we'll win this game. But you're right. We need to buck up our ideas in the first few minutes because it seems like we don't expect teams to come at us in the first few minutes of games. So
No, you don't start in 80 minutes on. I'm going to ask you for your prediction at the end. What I'm going to do first is we're going to go through the rest of the weekend's games. The first game kicking off in about 30 minutes' time, which Liverpool fans and Arsenal fans will have an eye on. Crystal Palace against Man City. Now, Man City haven't had the easiest time at Selhurst Park. Pep Guardiola hasn't had the easiest time. Even when they've won there, it's been kind of by the odd goal. So, although this is a different Palace team that everyone's talking about, Glasner's saying we're going to be more attacking. I haven't seen a lot of that. When I was at I think it was Glasner's second game, I was at the Spurs stadium, and Palace just defended deep the whole way. I think Spurs at 80% possession for the whole game. So, it's very much playing like Roy Hodgson's team. So I think the players, maybe that's a bit of the players being set in their ways, or maybe Glasner feels that he can't really implement his style next year when he gets his own players on in pre-season. So I don't think much is going to change. I think Palace are going to be playing defensive football. And this game against Man City, because Man City's going to have a lot of the ball, so Palace are going to play a certain way. And you've seen it yourself when Liverpool went to Palace, it was difficult. They don't give many chances away. And Liverpool, until the end, they ended up winning 2-1, but Palace made it a hard day. So being an early kickoff again, Man City play Wednesday night. Although they made some changes, this is not as easy as it looks on paper. And if Palace can frustrate Man City, who knows? How do you think this game's going to go?
I don't have much hope, to be honest. I'm going to go 2-0 Man City.
James saying 2-2. I'm going to agree with you. I think Man City will be too strong. 2-0. And that would obviously put Man City top of the table. No, it wouldn't. Sorry, it wouldn't, because goal difference, they would be level with Liverpool.
We'd still be above.
Yeah, only Arsenal can get in front. Unless they had a cricket score, they'll only be in second. Villa take on Brentford. Now, this is where Emery's decision is going to pay off, because if they don't beat Brentford, people are going to ask why you went so weak the other night. So, big game, and sometimes that adds pressure. When you've gambled on a game, they won a game. This is a big game at home now. They did end up a bit of a patchy home record against Wolves last time out, although Wolves missed some big chances. And as we've seen with Brentford, they can create a lot of chances. As we've seen against Man United, even at Arsenal, they held Arsenal off for a good while, and Arsenal ended up getting a winner. They won 2-1. So Brentford can be tricky, and I do feel that over the last couple of games they have got better, and they're starting to show up a bit of the normal Brentford we're used to over the last couple of seasons. So maybe they're playing Villa at the right time too. This is not going to be as easy for Villa as some people may think.
No, I think they'll still get the one. I'm going to go 2-1. I think 2-1.
3-0 City. Kieran's going. James saying 1-1. Kieran saying 3-1. I think 2-1 Villa. Just.
Yep. I
mean, this is crucial. This is such a big game. I think I actually might watch this game today.
I'm going to watch it
at 3 o'clock because I think it's just so much riding on it. All of a sudden, Burnley are on a sneak of getting themselves out of trouble. Now, it would be probably the greatest escape of all time, but if they really won here today, they're right back on it. Everton haven't beaten anyone in the Premier League since they beat Burnley in the reverse fixture in the middle of December. 13 Premier League games without a win. As this the day that they break that record, they got a good draw against Newcastle the other night. All being a bit fortunate, they had to get a penalty. Was a penalty, but they didn't look to score out that. And I suppose at the minute, Everton don't score a lot of goals, so Burnley may feel that they have a great opportunity here, and you'd expect Burnley to go there and try and dominate possession like they try and do, and maybe put Everton under pressure. So it's going to be a funny game.
I'm going to go 1-1.
Kieran agrees 1-1. I just have a feeling this is where Sean Dyche earns his stripes. This is the type of games that Dyche's teams get over the line on. A big game against a rival. at home. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Everton 1.
Oh no, Everton.
Fulham against Newcastle. Now, Newcastle, 4 points in the last 2 games. They'll be really disappointed they didn't get 6, conceding that late penalty against Everton. Now,
And Fulham
squad
back.
stretched, third game in a week. Fulham have to respond after a couple of bad results away at Sheffield United. Almost lost that game, fought back for a 3-3 draw, and then battered against Nottingham Forest. Marco Silva made a triple change after 30 minutes. So he'll be looking for a reaction today, but Fulham usually are so much better at home, and Newcastle struggle away. So tough game to call. Form would say Newcastle, but if you look at the home form and away form of both teams, it would favour Fulham. So tricky one.
I'm going to go 2-1 Fulham. I think Fulham will get the result.
Fulham. You and Meats must be in good tandem here. He's all saying predictions. Tough one. I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2.
Quite entertaining. Another huge game. More so for Luton. Bournemouth now pretty safe, sitting like 40 points. They're on now, 41 points. So Bournemouth are safe. It'll be interesting to see whether they continue their form or the flip-flops go on. But according to the manager, they're going to keep trying to finish as high as possible in the table. Luton, I mean, they always put a performance on, but just come up short a lot of the time. But this is an opportunity at home, and you feel if they're going to stay up, they really need to get 3 points here.
I don't think they will, though, unfortunately. Because I would actually like Luton to stay up because, as I said to you the other night, I think out of the 2 promoted teams, they are 2 promoted teams. I think they're the best team to watch. But
Boys
I'm
are
going to
saying
go
draws 1-1, 2-2.
I agree. I'm going to go 1-1. I think it'll be 1-1, but I don't think Luton will win.
I agree as well. I just think they're running out of steam too. A wee bit Luton.
Yeah.
Going to go for a 1-1 draw. James saying 3-1 Luton. He fancies Luton. Wolves West Ham is the final 3:00 game. Gary O'Neill, I mean, it's the first time I've seen him this week. He's had a go at the Wolves owners. Not like him. He's very easily problematic, isn't he? He said that they need support from the board. They didn't get it in January, and now they've got injuries. They haven't got a striker or an attacker really fit. I think Al Murray's had to play up there at times. Although he's done a decent job, you can see he's not a striker.
I've been watching a bit of Al Murray in last recent weeks because we've been linked.
And only for West Ham's collapse in Newcastle, they've been in pretty good form. So tough one they call as well, but I think the form favours West Ham. How do you see it?
Nah, I'm going to go 2-0 West Ham. I just think with Wolves has injuries and they don't have a striker, and I think Wolves are sort of at that stage now where they're on the beach. Like they're not going to hit Europe and they're not going to go down. So I think West Ham, who are fighting for Europe, and have a big game on Thursday too. So I think it'll be interesting to see what sort of team Moyes puts out. But I think 2-0 West Ham. I'll go for.
Yeah, West Ham go to Bayer Leverkusen, a team that haven't lost all season in any competition. They're in one final. They're 13 points clear in the league, or 12 points clear.
13
clear in the league. So almost. And I think that the team they're playing in the final are heavy favourites. So you can imagine they've got 2 trophies in the bag. So you feel that this is the third part of it. Can they win this competition, the Europa League? West Ham stand their way. That'll be quite interesting.
Nobody's winning the Europa League but my boys.
Coming back to this game, I agree with you. I'm going to go for a 2-1 West Ham 1. Kieran saying 1-1. James, thanks Wolves. Will bounce back with 2-0 1. Moving on to a huge game at 5:30 tonight. Brighton against Arsenal. Arsenal travel to the seaside now. Brighton have been a bit of a sticky patch for Arsenal, but we've seen last season Arsenal went to Brighton and won by 4-2. One of their best performances of the season, and they're going to have to be as good tonight because Brighton are a funny team on their day, especially at home. They can be brilliant or they can be poor and they can get beaten heavily. So it's a really tough one to call, but I think Arsenal are just going to be too strong, too powerful, and Brighton give up too many chances.
This is one. I'm going to go 1-1. I have a sneaky feeling.
I just think Arsenal are going to be too good. I'm going to go for Arsenal. They won by 3 goals. They won.
3 goals. They won.
Mates is saying in a title twist 2-1 Brighton. He thinks.
Fingers crossed.
Who knows? No early game tomorrow. Obviously, with the Old Firm being at 12 o'clock. I suppose we'll put our predictions on here actually for Rangers and Celtic for the lads can do theirs as well.
Yeah, why not? Stick it in there. I think the viewers might be disappointed. This is my last podcast for 2 weeks because I'm
One's on
jetting
his
off.
holidays, exactly, and one's on his holidays. He's going to Portugal. You'll see the title race will unfold from, is it Porto? You're going to Lisbon?
Lisbon, so I'll be I might go
Are
try
you
and
going to
find
bring? You going to bring Ruben Amorim back on the play me?
I might have to try and persuade him.
Yeah, no, we don't usually preview a Scottish game. We did talk about it earlier, so we put it on here. Rangers versus Celtic, the big game at the top of the Scottish League. That is the early kickoff on Sky Sports, 12 o'clock
Yeah.
kickoff. How do you see
Um,
this one going on?
I'll probably watch it myself. This is probably the only game of Scottish football I ever watched. So I'm gonna go 2-1 Rangers.
Boys saying 2-2, 2-2. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw.
I think Celtic will just do enough to get that draw.
Yep.
No game then between sort of 2 and 3, but obviously that's going to be for the build-up. I think Sky Sports build-up starts at 2:30 for Man United against Liverpool. They'll bring the A team on. I would say Roy Keane, Ben Carragher, Neville, Richards, Sturridge, they'll all be there. But who is going to reign supreme? Will Liverpool make a third time lucky? You say you were confident, so I can guess your score. I can only guess what way you're going to favour this game to go.
I think we'll win, but I'm not going to say 5, 6, 7. I'm going to go 3-1. I think we'll go. This is how I think it's going to go. I think we'll go 2-0 up. United will get a goal in like a 70th minute, and then we'll hit them in the counter attack and 3-1 bang. Done.
Give me your predictions, lads, for United Liverpool, and I'll put them on screen. Owen saying 3-1. I'm going to go for a Liverpool 4-1 victory. I just think they're going to be too strong, too powerful, and United's. I think their wrist is run. I think too many injuries. I mean, if Casemiro's playing in midfield, they're going to get. I'll be on me 12-10 come 3:30, so 4-1 the Reds for me as well.
It's I think
3-1.
You might laugh, but I think it's big that Curtis Jones is back. I think he's a
James saying 3-1. I think he means 3-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool, I would say so because if it's the home side, I'm a bit worried. But with Jones being back in the midfield, I think that's a big boost for us. I think he's a good player.
Yeah, final couple of games. Sheffield United against Chelsea at 5:30. This game is not on live. Sheffield United put on a good performance against Liverpool, but it wasn't enough. But Chelsea are coming on the form, so you'd fancy Chelsea here. They beat Sheffield.
I'm gonna go 2-0 to Chelsea.
2-0 to Chelsea. I agree. Too good. Chelsea will be for Sheffield. I'll go for a 3-1 Chelsea 1. And finally, Spurs against Nottingham Forest is on at 6 o'clock on Sky Sports directly after Liverpool's game at Old Trafford. I'll be there, and I'm hoping for a Spurs 1. Owen, will Spurs get the 1?
I think so. I'm going to go 3-1 Spurs. I think Brendan Johnson will score, I think.
I fancy us to get a clean sheet in this game. I'm going to go for a 3-0 Spurs 1. Final couple of comments coming on. 2-1 Chelsea, 3-0 Spurs. Boys, it's been great to have you on a Saturday morning. So many viewers, still 25 people watching. So it seems like a lot of people that tuned in were with us for the full 55 minutes here coming up. Me and Owen are going to bounce off air because obviously Crystal Palace taking on Man City now in about 20 minutes time. We'll get set up to watch that. Owen, it's been brilliant having you on the podcast this season. And I know you'll be back for the final running, but you'll be missing for 2 weeks. So enjoy your holiday. Enjoy your holiday. I mean, I have a mic all the time, but people don't see it because of the way I have to sit it when I'm doing it in my room. Obviously, I'm in the kitchen today, so
I'll be watching as much as I can when I'm out there.
So, what games will you be out in Portugal for?
I get there on Tuesday, so Liverpool games. I'll be there for the Europa League game on Thursday night, and I think we play Palace on the Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll be out there for them games. So and then I'll be
Atlanta, and then Palace, and then Atlanta again.
No, I'll be back home for the Atlanta game, but I arrive back on the Tuesday, so I'll probably be back on the podcast then the week.
How long are you away for a week?
A week, but I
normally
do a Monday and a Tuesday on here, so it'll be 2 weeks for my beautiful face.
I will see what we can do. Might have to get you updates. See, because you're doing an exclusive interview with Ruben Amorim too, so we'll have some like breaking news for all the watchers.
If I can find them, I'll be talking to them. Trust me.
Owen, brilliant having you on a Saturday morning. Obviously, we did this podcast today because Premier League football on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I was at the Brandywell last night, so unfortunately, this won't be a regular thing on a Saturday morning. We like to get it out a wee bit earlier so people get a chance to watch it on playback as well. But it was good doing it this Saturday. Really enjoying it. Really looking forward to the football this weekend. I want to thank all the viewers for their comments and their loyalty for watching the podcast this season. If you're new around here, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe for more content. We're going to be very busy before the end of the season doing all these podcasts. So many big games coming. And it's really enjoyable. So, Owen, thanks again, and I will see you all soon.
No bother, lad.